Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Nëïgsëndöïg Cöcülës show. My name is Nëïgsëndöïg Cöcülës, the namesake for this here podcast. Now, the Call of Duty series is in shambles. Despite that, older Call of Duty games, if you do some research, are actually considered to be safer once you actually implement this. This is something I did, for example, with one of the games that I will be discussing today. Newer titles like 2019's reboot of Modern Warfare come packed with features and, admittedly, a lot of bloat. The flaws, however, are staggering in my eyes, more than even compromising any and all Windows systems. If you're on Linux, the latest COD game you can play is Black Ops 4. Now, what about older games? While they are indeed nostalgic in their own right, they have their own issues and exploits that people are using in the Steam clients. And when you pair them with the right tools, you actually secure them better than even modern COD games. Now, we'll be looking at mods that fix these games that I'm discussing. I have 4 of them at hand today. That way, things will be much better for you as a COD player. Though, don't get your hopes up if you are, say, a Warzone player, because I can't even play Warzone due to Linux. The modern problem with these games nowadays is that there is, I guess, what you would consider a rootkit running deep inside of your operating system, which I will assume will be Windows if you play these games. This is a rootkit called Ricochet. It claims to be an anti-cheat, though I propose it actually isn't an anti-cheat and is something else entirely. It allows the game to see exactly what you are doing, going beyond checking for cheaters. Even tracking users and data sales could also be a thing. When you connect to Call of Duty servers, this information will be sent directly there. And what's worse, if a hacker compromises any players, data could also be gathered from them without any consent or knowledge. There's also confirmation that Ricochet is a network of computers working together, gathering data from players without their awareness or allowance, even being used as AI bots in some lobbies just to fill them, just to make the game look good, when this is not entirely the case. This is called a botnet, by the way. Compare this to the older games. They do not utilize Ricochet. They don't utilize software that is deep, and I do mean deep in the kernel. And that means they are less likely to collect personal information or track you. This also leads to less code for hackers to exploit, despite the fact that there are a lot of undiscovered bugs and vulnerabilities that have been found years after the games were released, still used on players who use the Steam client like a good little corporate slave. I would not recommend the Steam client anymore, by the way. We'll get to that in a second. But there are solutions. Firstly, you have tools like Plutonium, Horizon Modern Warfare, IW7 for Infinite Warfare. You have AlterWare. You've got all these tools acting as middlemen between you, the player, and the games. They check every piece of data before it leaves, only delivering very classified information without personal data. Classified as in very specific information only for the game to actually work properly. I don't think I explained that right. Anyway, mods and these clients really are updates made by players, likely security researchers, and COD fans to patch holes in older games that hackers already utilize. These will keep the games working smoothly without risky software from modern publishing. Though, most of these are open source mods, like for example Horizon Modern Warfare, or a lot of other mods, in fact. That's just how these work, at least as far as I'm personally aware. Things like Plutonium, however, are proprietary, especially with the Plutonium server side anti cheat. That completely makes sense, though a lot of server users and server admins apparently don't like VPNs. Guys, stop discriminating against VPNs. I get it, you want to tone down on the cheating, but just whitelist them. Just whitelist users who have a VPN. That out of the way, I do have one note for Linux users. You will be required to use Wine or Proton, since there are 0 dedicated binaries for these games on Linux. It just wasn't good for gaming at the time. Things have since advanced greatly, but they are not Linux friendly enough for binaries to be made. And Activision certainly won't be doing that because they absolutely hate Linux users. So that is something to keep in mind as we go through these 4 games in chronological order. That first game is going to end up being 2011's Modern Warfare 3 from Infinity Ward. They are known by the community as Infinity Turd, and that is because what the heck even happened to Infinity Ward? They are not the same as they were years and years ago. This is a game that has really a lot of gunplay and movement involved without sliding. None of these games have sliding or even tack sprinting, which is apparently really bad if you come from the older side of the COD community, having played these games in the past. I haven't until 2025. This focuses primarily on, well, not being toxic, as sliding is certainly considered toxic. This is especially with the snaking that's found in the newer games. Oh boy, is it bad. You can have a more stable connection on older systems, especially those running the game just fine. Now, I should point out that as the games get much, much better in some cases, they do get pretty more expensive for your hard drive in terms of space. I'm actually grabbing Horizon Modern Warfare right now, and it's going to be about 80 gigabytes. That's a lot on my hard drive, so I may need to get another hard drive in order to even play these games in the first place. Or I'll probably just end up getting a separate hard drive. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work. Doesn't matter. For this game, you may want to use Plutonium, or, in some cases, you'll want to use what's called the IW5 mod, which is by AlterWare. But that's only for the single player. Multiplayer is going to end up being specifically IW5 Client, which is made by Plutonium. That's probably the best you can go with this sort of game. Now, keep in mind, Plutonium is fully supported with Proton or Wine and Lutris, or any launcher of your choice. I still use Lutris to this day, despite its code being written with AI, specifically Claude. Now, it does have a Proton DB rating of Bronze currently. There are performance issues that are apparently really bad, though I think Plutonium might be able to support those somewhat well. I haven't played this one, so I wouldn't know for a fact, and I'd probably need to stay away from it, since it's gonna be extremely crashy with Plutonium, so I've heard. The second game on this list is going to be 2012's Call of Duty Black Ops 2, considered the best Call of Duty game of all time. This is by Treyarch from their golden years. Really, the golden years of Treyarch were the Black Ops games, the original Black Ops games, or even World at War back in 2008. I'm talking Black Ops from 2010, Black Ops 2 from 2012, or even Black Ops 3 from 2015. Apparently, that game is really good as well, especially with the T7X client. Now, this is compared to Modern Warfare 2007 version. It is still good, I just hadn't played Modern Warfare 2007. Though, that's going to be fixed with Modern Warfare Remastered, which I will be explaining here soon. This also has non-slide gameplay and has a top-notch class system, of which I've been using a lot. And it's just a 10-slot class system, which is classic 2012 Treyarch. You had names like David Vonderhaar on the team. And, well, people like Vonderhaar and those who actually cared about the users and the players at hand, they left Treyarch because they knew what was going on. Likely also with the Infinity Ward as well. The maps are nice and large, with considerations on how the game works. And I think this also has some of the best matches in the entire esports history for COD. I hit my boom arm there, by the way. This was also during the MLG days and Battle Games? I think it is Battle Games. Well, this was the mid 2010s, like almost mid 2010s. Because I think the 2013 COD season was actually Black Ops 2 before they did Ghosts in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Plutonium is also recommended for this game. This is the same with Modern Warfare 3, which I explained earlier, World at War, which is from 2008. That one in particular actually is the IW4 client. No, T4 client, excuse me. Pluto T4 client, that is correct. And then, of course, you have, well, Black Ops 1 from 2010. That is also well supported. And mind you, if you use a launcher with Wine, or you just use Steam with Proton, it will also fully work as well. Black Ops 2 has a rating of gold according to ProtonDB. Now, I should have mentioned earlier, but I'm only doing this specifically for PC. Now, there aren't many performance issues on PC, though they do require some tweaks. And they should be relatively easy tweaks once someone can read the friendly manual or actually craft one themselves. The performance is generally good with the default settings on Linux, though you do need to cap your FPS, and if you're on mouse and keyboard, you need to lower the pull rate under 1000 Hz. Otherwise, your mouse and aiming is going to play parkour, according to one user on the Plutonium forums. So, yeah, that is certainly something to behold. Next up, we have the other Treyarch game that people seem to love, Black Ops 3 from 2015. This introduces wall running, sliding. No, I think sliding comes later. But wall running and jetpacks are introduced in this game. Boy, were the jetpacks toxic, so I've heard. They were used quite a bit during the Black Ops 3 season, which, if I'm not mistaken, was from 2016. This also has a bucket system, which you get placed into certain buckets. This was kept even to the latest title of Black Ops 7, or, as Fully calls it, Black Ops 6 Part 2, because it's basically the same. Now, if you want to play this game, there are several options that you could do, like the T7 community patch. Or, for Black Ops 3, you could do the BOIII Client or T7X. This is basically an AlterWare client for those that are unaware. That said, however, you do need to add any of these patches to fix a lot of the bugs and exploits that are found in this game. It is also said to be a very good title, but I think it's nothing compared to Black Ops 2. Though some people also argue of its benefit and its merit based upon technicality, and I tend to agree. It does have some really good merit. Though again, I've never really played Black Ops 3, though I really do want to. This game has a ProtonDB rating of gold, requiring some tweaks, though things are mixed on the PC side of things. I wonder how well it's going to work on Arctics. As a side note, I did go ahead and actually play Black Ops 2 on Plutonium on Arctics Linux, since I'm using Arctics to do this series now instead of CachyOS like I did back in 25. And, well, Plutonium with Black Ops 2 works extremely well for me. So that's a plus in my eyes. The last game for today is going to be a little something called Modern Warfare Remastered from 2017. This was made by Raven Software and Beenox. The original game, however, is from Infinity Ward. That's from 10 years prior. A fun fact is that the first of COD esports was actually for the first Modern Warfare game from 2007, the Infinity Ward version. Modern Warfare, as one should remember it, is what this version is, which was made by Raven and Beenox. They seem to have captured the spirit of the original Infinity Ward game extremely well. And while gunplay is important, a lot of it could be due to movement. But that's just me being a Black Ops 2 player who has been learning the mindset of competitive play. Now, there are two clients you could potentially use, both of which are, by the way, free software under GPL 3. The one that seems to be recommended the most is actually the Horizon Modern Warfare mod. It's a FOSS mod that not only patches the security holes, but it will add a ton of content from Modern Warfare 2 and 3, the trilogy versions, not past the 2019 version, because you can't play those on Linux, the latter ones. You might not even need Modern Warfare 3, considering how nasty things can get, based upon what I have seen of it, but you'd never know. The Proton DB rating for this game is in fact gold. It does work out of the box, though it may require some tweaking for things to work properly. I also took a look at something called the H1 mod, which is very similar to something called H2M, which was a proprietary mod. It did end up getting completely destroyed as a result of things. But that said, I think it may be much, much, much better for someone like me to play Modern Warfare Remastered and Black Ops 2. I would only do the multiplayer. I probably don't do zombies, so yeah. I'm going to want to try zombies out though and see how well zombies is going to work. I did play a little zombies, though I'm pretty trash at it. And that is going to be it for this episode here. Every episode releases on Thursday afternoons, provided there is zero scheduling conflicts, at 4 p.m. Pacific Time. You can listen to this podcast on YouTube and Wavelake, and if you want the Wavelake exclusive episodes, but you don't have a Podcast 2.0 client like AntennaPod, Fountain, or Podverse, try to remember that other one, then you can just copy the RSS feed and paste that into your Podcast 1.0 player of choice like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Even Pocket Casts if you really wanted to. But that being said, I am out of time for today's episode. Thank you, and good night.